second wave of feminism brought about new ideas in America that challenged previous ideals of women. A common misconception that exists about the term feminism is that women believe in obtaining more power than men, but this term actually means that women believe in equal treatment between men and women. Feminism is about equality, not sameness, and same is not equal. Jane Fonda is a prominent women's rights campaigner.
Now you're still being a tomboy, acting as you're acting now.
No, not at all.
No?
No, that's a kind of a very chauvinistic question. People seem to think that if you're a girl, you have to behave in a way that is not militant or political, especially if you're an actress. You know, how dare an actress think or be political? That, of course, is a completely wrong way of thinking.
What do you think of the Woman Liberation Front?
I think it is one of the most revolutionary movements in America. I think it's extremely important, and I am fully in support.
The second wave of feminism did not only call for voting rights, but equal rights amongst the people of both genders. This second wave was initiated after World War II, in which women were pushed out of the workforce. The goals of this new movement included gaining access to different programs that colleges offered in order to get an education that men could, being more involved in political affairs while gaining more political representation, challenging the roles that women played in nuclear households, and most importantly, to rid the negative connotation that women hate men. Other kinds of feminism that evolved from this movement were black feminism, which fought for the importance of black women, and fat feminism, which advocated for positive body images. Feminists at the time wanted to de-sex the English language, as they argued that language was centered around males and it was gender biased. Both women and feminists wanted representation in pop culture, and they also wanted to get rid of stereotypical roles that women had in television shows. Nowadays, women continue to struggle with striving to achieve equality. In the workforce, women want to be treated equally by getting same and fair pay. In today's society, feminists not only fight for the equality of women, but the equality of other underrepresented genders and ethnicities. Women and feminists nationwide also want more representation in politics. During the second wave of feminism, women did not want to be known as the caretakers of the children in the house. They wanted to get an education of their own and work in the job field of their choice. Betty Friedan wrote, "Women who adjust as housewives, who grow up wanting to be just a housewife, are in as much danger as the millions who walked to their own death in the concentration camps. They are suffering a slow death of mind and spirit." Also, Linda Gordon once said, "The nuclear family must be destroyed. Whatever its ultimate meaning, the breakup of families is now an objectively revolutionary process." Take a look at a brief interview with Gloria Steinem on why you should be a feminist.
It didn't occur to me that there was a profound difference until I was 12 or 13, because that's the time at which the feminine role sort of comes down upon you like the Iron Maiden. You pretty much had to get married, have children, take your husband's name, assume his identity. So I assumed that I would have to marry the man I wanted to become. There was not really a choice, and it was the beginning of the women's movement that made me realize, wait a minute, we do have a choice.
The feminists during the time turned what was called the Miss America pageant into a protest. Hundreds of feminists showed up to the boardwalk in Atlantic City where the pageant was held and enacted their Miss America protest. The protesters believed that it judged women too harshly on their beauty features. The protesters also were not entirely in favor of the hypocrisy of the pageant. Feminists also considered the pageant to be racist for never allowing there to be a black Miss America. Here's some footage from that day.
Just a few short minutes from now, ladies and gentlemen, we will know the name of our new Miss America.
Yes, sirree, boys, step right up. How much am I offered for this #1 piece of prime American property? She sings in the kitchen, hums at the typewriter, purrs in bed. She walks, she talks, she even whips. And thanks to the research of Tony and Revlon, you can get this standard quality model wherever you go. The perfect model. She doesn't talk back. In fact, she doesn't talk at all unless you want her to. And then she only says what you're programmed her to say. Yes, sir, you can use it to push your product, push your politics, or push your war. She's the girl back home every man is fighting for.
In the 1960s, the general population of men believed that feminists were harshly imposing this expectation that they wanted to change, and they were being extremely radical about it. Men did not always approve of women trying to impose new rules on men, saying that they should take more responsibility over the children and the household. After women gained voting rights, many people believed that equality was already reached, so they believed that feminists were overbearing and reached for things that were already accomplished. People also tended to think that feminists have always been victims. This next short clip gives insight as to how the media portrayed feminists of the time period.
Had a picture of Betty Friedan at her most angry, side view with her finger in the air, just angry look on her face, and this beautiful young woman on the other side, and the headline was, "Who would you choose?" So that's how the media fed into criticizing the movement, making fun of the movement.
As the feminist movement grew, women wanted to become part of other movements that were male-dominated. It drew attention to the issues of domestic violence and marital rape, and gendered Dale crisis centers as well as women's shelters. It brought about custody laws and divorce laws, and in the 1950s, divorce was socially unacceptable for women. Feminism challenged the idea that women needed men in order to thrive. The feminist movement allowed for all minorities to join in as well. As mentioned before, Betty Friedan was one of the most powerful and influential feminists of the 1960s. Here is one of her interviews about the contribution of men in the feminist movement.
The war between the sexes could become an Armageddon if we don't get on with our revolution. But if we do get on with it and we restructure society to make equality really possible, then I think the war between the sexes will end, and for the first time we will have possible true human sexual liberation.
The feminist movement has exponentially increased equality of the sexes and is still going on today. Just to reiterate the words of past generations of feminists, feminism is equality of the sexes, not the overpowering of one gender over another.